I, 28 male, recently proposed to my girlfriend, 27 female, of 3 years. Kylie, my girlfriend, has always been a bit materialistic. I'm not complaining about it, but sometimes it used to bug me that she would never appreciate the little things I did, but only cared about the gifts and stuff I got her. One time, we even got into a huge fight when, on our first anniversary, I chose to make her a cute little video from all our dates. I was also planning to give her a pendant after she'd watched the video, but she got pissed off and said I was being a miser for not getting her a real gift. She didn't even watch the full video and began fighting with me in the middle of it. But eventually, both of us calmed down enough, and since she'd got me a watch I'd really wanted, it seemed fair that she'd want a real gift as well. That was 2 years ago, and since then, I've always made sure to get her stuff she wants instead of anything handmade because she clearly doesn't like that. And I'm okay with that. That was until a few days ago when we were discussing where we wanted to go for our honeymoon. Kylie told me that she'd always wanted to visit Europe, all of it at once, and that we should definitely go there. I laughed in her face because I thought she was kidding. Obviously, we don't earn enough for that, and after the wedding expenses, it's not very plausible to plan a vacation to Europe since they're dead expensive. And that's when she told me that not only did she want to go to famous European countries, but she also expected me to pay for all of it. Here's the thing, I'm a sales representative, and while I earn enough to live comfortably, there's just no way I can afford a vacation for two to Europe without burning a hole in my wallet. I also know for a fact that even though we can budget our stay there by not making it a luxury vacation, even that won't be okay with Kylie. And add to that the cost of our engagement and wedding ring and the wedding? Yeah, just no way I can do all of that without going bankrupt. My parents, thankfully, are covering some of the wedding expenses, but even then, I don't want to spend all my savings on our honeymoon since we do have a life beyond that. Unfortunately, Kylie wasn't having any of this. We got into a huge fight since she was adamant that we must go to Europe. I lost it when she accused me of being a selfish a-hole multiple times in the argument and finally snapped. So I told her that if she wanted this so bad, then maybe she should go by herself if she can afford it. She kept on yelling at me after that, but I just tuned her out and went out for a drive to clear my head. I came back home around an hour later and Kylie was gone. This has happened before, where after a fight, she just goes to stay with her friends for a while until I apologize. But honestly, this time I didn't really feel like apologizing because I don't think I've done anything or said anything out of line. She called me selfish for not wanting to spend all my savings on a trip. I mean, how does that even seem fair? But I still called up her friend to ask if she was with them and if I could speak to her since I didn't want things to get out of hand. Her friend told me that Kylie is super upset and has been crying since she arrived. She said that what I said to her was super messed up because I know for a fact that she doesn't make as much as me and I was being super insensitive and selfish. This was 2 days ago and we haven't spoken since. Now I feel a little bad about whatever I said and the way I acted. I probably overreacted a little, and I've always known that these things are a big deal to Kylie, so I should have probably kept that in mind. I feel like I should apologize to her and talk things out. I still don't think that vacationing in Europe is the best move for me financially, though. I know I hurt her by lashing out that way, but I also don't think I was totally wrong. I'm just really confused about what to do about this right now. Am I really being selfish here? AITA for saying no to the Europe vacation? Update 1. It's been a week since our big fight, and we finally talked to each other today. After reading all the responses here, I decided not to contact her since I really wasn't in the wrong. I didn't want to spend all my savings on a vacation that wasn't even my idea, and I shouldn't be made to feel bad because of that. It was Kylie who finally got in touch with me. She asked me if I wanted to talk or not, and I said yes, since even though we were fighting, I did miss her a lot. So we met and had a discussion today. I can't say it went well since we're still very divided on the whole honeymoon thing, but at least we're talking now. She said to me that what I said to her really hurt her, and I apologized because that was over the line. She didn't apologize to me for calling me selfish, though. I told her that while I understand how much this trip means to her, I don't think I want to splurge on a fancy honeymoon and end up broke. I tried explaining this to her, but she remained firm on the point that she deserves this because she's been working super hard at work for a promotion. I don't know how that responsibility falls to me, but I made it clear that no matter what, I wasn't spending a crazy amount of money on our honeymoon. She ended up packing some clothes and moving back to her friend's house for a while since she needed to come to terms with this decision. I don't know what's going to happen now. Update 2. It's been weeks since the previous update, so I know that this is way overdue, so here we go. We broke up. Yeah, it sucks. I was really upset over everything that had happened, so I wasn't really in the right headspace to post. But yes, coming back to the breakup, after our last conversation, Kylie moved back to her friend's place for a few more days. I thought that eventually she'd come back, but when she didn't speak to me, even after a week, I went over to her friend's house to talk to her. She seemed pissed and told me to go away, and I was totally confused as to why she was so angry. Again, since the last time we'd spoken, she'd seemed reasonably calm. After talking to her, I realized that she'd been icing me out because that had always worked earlier. She would just give me the silent treatment and I would come running back to her, and eventually she would get her way. But this time, it wasn't working, and that's what was pissing her off. I was just shocked that she was actually admitting to constantly manipulating me so that I would come running back to her with little to no regard for how it would affect me and my emotions. That just really was the last straw. I decided that I was done chasing after someone who clearly has zero respect for me or our relationship and is willing to put it all on the line just for some stupid little trip. I told her that I wanted the ring back and that we were done. She didn't even say anything for a few seconds because that's how much it took her by surprise. Then she started crying and apologizing to me and saying that I didn't have to do any of that and we didn't need to go to Europe or anywhere. But that meant nothing to me anymore. I was just completely done with her. She sobbed there for half an hour trying to apologize and convince me to stay, but I had lost all feelings for her. I just sat there while she cried, waiting for her to return the ring. When she finally stopped crying, she managed to take the ring off and hand it over to me, all the while reminding me that she'll always love me and that she knows we're meant to end up together. That was almost a month ago. She called and texted me relentlessly to win me back for almost 2 weeks after that, but I didn't respond. And then I guess she eventually took the hint and then she just stopped. I did feel bad about it, but I'm not getting back with her anymore. Update 3. Last night, after almost 2 weeks of radio silence from her end, she finally came home to pack up all her stuff and move out for good. The friend she'd been living with also came with her and helped her pack. She told me that I should reconsider since she's been really torn up ever since I dumped her. I didn't know what to say to her anymore since what's done is done. I'm just done now. We barely even spoke except for before she left. She said thank you for everything and goodbye and then left. It broke my heart all over again, but I knew that this was the best decision that I could have made. She's taken off all the pictures of us from her social media accounts and basically just removed all public traces of our relationship ever existing. I haven't found the strength to do that yet, though, but I know in my heart that I did the right thing. I'm focusing more on my work now and trying to learn to live without Kylie. It's lonelier, sure, but whatever. Maybe we'll find our way back to each other someday, but right now, it's best for us to stay apart. It's been tough on me, but my friends and family have been there for me, and I know I'll get through it. NTA at all. I'm glad that you decided to stand up for yourself because that sounds like it was much needed in this case. Honestly, she seemed to be a huge red flag right from the beginning. You deserve better, honestly. You seem like a good stand up guy. NTA, if she wants that vacation so bad, then she can pay for it herself. You were right in saying that. I'm surprised you didn't end up saying more. Edit. Just read the updates and man, this straight up sucks. I'm sorry this happened to you, buddy. Best of luck for the future. Kylie isn't worth it. You're definitely NTA. Next story. My sister's husband took off and left her with their two kids. She's having a hard time supporting her and her kids, so I've let her and her kids move in with me. I figured it would be a win-win for both of us since I am also a single parent and could use some help with childcare for my own two kids. We haven't run into any issues so far except when it comes to this one thing. I have since pretty much forever gotten takeout or gone out to eat once a week. It's sort of a special reward meal for the end of the week. Now that I have kids, of course I include them, and nowadays I just let them take turns choosing what we're going to have. Soon after my sister moved in, I realized that she could not afford to go out to eat or get takeout every week. It's not in my budget to pay for them in addition to my own family. I thought it would be mean to order takeout in front of them, though, so I made a new rule with my kids that for the time being, we were not going to get takeout and only go out to eat for our special meal. My kids were fine with it because they could still go to their favorite places. On this past Saturday, before we left, one of my nieces got upset because we were going out without them again, and they never get to have good food anymore. My other niece also said it wasn't fair and it turned into hysterics, so we quickly left. My sister has now asked that I not take my kids out as much anymore. Instead, she thinks we could just do pizza once a month together and that it wouldn't be such a big deal to stop going out. I'm okay with the idea of pizza once a month with them, but I think it's a little unfair to my kids to stop our tradition for the remaining weeks of the month when they look forward to it so much. Also, on a selfish note, I really enjoy it. With three other people in the house, I don't get as much time alone with my kids. I enjoy the company of my sisters and nieces, but sometimes I just want to have a meal alone with my kids. NAH. I say that rather than NTA because I'm giving your sister the grace that this is a hard situation for her to navigate, and explaining the breakdown of a family to young kids is hard enough without having to also explain why they can't have all the things they used to have, but have to watch their cousins get those things. I feel for her, and assuming your relationship is good otherwise, I don't think she's TA. More like a stressed parent trying to do the best she can. That being said, keep to your traditions. Have a conversation with her at a time when this isn't an imminent issue. Maybe she can take her kids to do something cheap, free while you're out with yours, so it feels less like it's being rubbed in their face to them. NTA, you are offering help and a place to stay, not a lifestyle change on your end. I feel awful for your sister and nieces, but their mom needs to step up and fix the issue by offering to find the money to cover a meal if she wants her kids to have that. If not, she can leave. Next story. My husband, 43, male, and I, 37, female, were the last in our friend circle to have kids. Most of them got started in their late teens or early 20s. They knew we wanted kids, but infertility sucks. Since my husband and I had fewer responsibilities than they did, for over 15 years we drive 8+ hours to see them. When we got pregnant unexpectedly, without trying, 2 years ago, we called and told them that because I'm high risk after having so many miscarriages, we won't be traveling during my pregnancy. However, we have a large house with 3 to 4 guest rooms, so they were welcome to come to visit us and they'd have a free place to stay, plus we'd cover the cost of food and outings. No one came to visit or see us through the entire pregnancy or after our baby almost died at birth. Baby has recovered well and is a very happy almost 2-year-old. Our friends call occasionally and have pestered us to visit, but 8+ hours with a toddler is a long trip. Lightning has struck twice, and I am once more unexpectedly pregnant. We've announced it to our friends, and they're asking when we can come visit with our first child so they can meet her before the next baby arrives. This is where I might be the a-hole. My husband started planning a trip, but I told him no. Our child and I won't go 8+ hours away for anyone. He's welcome to go, but I won't attend, and our child won't. For starters, I'm still at high risk with this pregnancy, and my doctor won't approve me for travel. I don't like the idea of our child going so far to appease a group of people who won't consider visiting. Additionally, our child hates traveling, and it would be difficult for one parent to take her anywhere. It usually takes both of us to keep her relatively calm. And while our friends and family are also parents, most of them have children in their upper teens or 20s who are less dependent on them. This is by their own confession. I've also told my husband I find it selfish that the family and friends in question have traveled to near where we live but have made no effort to stop by or even tell us that they're close until after the trip is done. My husband is a bit frustrated with me, but I told him we put everyone else first for over 15 years, and I think it's time to be selfish. Pregnancy hormones make me a bit testy, so AITA? NTA, first, high risk pregnancies should have shut the conversation down. Second, people with young children cannot always travel easily or often. When my sister's children were young, she told our extended family she wanted her kids to wake up on Christmas morning in their own home rather than 300+ miles away. A couple of siblings were bent about it, but she stuck to her decision and her husband backed her up. It makes sense. Just because OP's husband wants to go doesn't mean high-risk pregnancy wife and young child also need to go. Maybe pregnancy hormones are involved and maybe not, but OP is NTA here. Husband? A bit. RO1. To be fair, my husband grew up with his friends since he was 5. I'm sure he misses them. That's why I told him he absolutely can go. I won't. But he doesn't feel safe traveling away from me and our kid. Feel free to tell your friends that it's their turn. Instead of merely inviting them, tell them it's their turn. Explain how much you loved visiting them, knowing that it was so difficult to travel with kids and you were happy to make the trek. But now it's their turn to visit since now it's difficult for you and they have more opportunity. They are probably just so used to you making the distance that they don't even stop to think of why they should do it now for you. Maybe create an event. Since you have the room, put together an event where they can all come visit for a weekend and you can see everyone all at once. NTA, high risk means you need to stay closer to the medical providers who know you and your situation. Also, traveling solo with a 2-year-old is not a piece of cake. Next story. Throwaway account so it doesn't get back to me. I'm 26, male. My girlfriend's female, 24, and I recently moved into a new condo. We decided to have my family, parents, older sister, younger brothers, and a cousin, and a couple of friends over to watch the Super Bowl yesterday because we wanted to show off the new place. For context, my girlfriend is a big Rihanna fan and was extremely excited for the halftime show. She's Black and originally came to the US as an international student from Barbados. Apparently, Rihanna is too. And wound up staying for work. When the performance started, girlfriend adorably lost her goddamn mind, singing and dancing with me, just generally a good time while everyone else commented on the performance, the outfits, and if Rihanna was pregnant or not. Nobody seemed bothered at the time. While everyone was leaving and my girlfriend had started her night routine in the bathroom, my mom joked about my girlfriend being a little inappropriate with her dancing. She was whining and twerking on me a little at some points, but it wasn't really overtly sexual or crude, just her being silly. The conversation ended there because I didn't take my mom's comment seriously. Now, today around noon, she FaceTimes me and again comments on girlfriend's behavior. I asked her if she was serious, and she confirmed so. After a back and forth, she wound up using the words ghetto and vulgar to describe my girlfriend, and I got angry fast. I told her to stop being a racist a-hole and that girlfriend was just excited to see the performance, and she was the only one complaining. Mom asked what she said about race. And I was basically yelling that my girlfriend's culture includes things like that and it wasn't inherently vulgar, at least in this context. Mom hung up mid-argument, and later I get calls from my dad and older sister berating me for hurting my mom's feelings. I don't know if this was initially my sister's feelings or if mom swayed her, but she said it was a little ghetto. That's how they can be. I got pissed off again, especially at the word they, and yelled at sis. Now, my entire family is pissed at me except for the youngest brother, 16, who does think mom and sis were judging too harshly. I haven't told girlfriend yet because I don't want to ruin her good mood about the night. I intend to before she can hear it elsewhere. But from my standpoint, she just enjoyed herself seeing one of her favorite artists perform for the first time in years. And I hate to dampen her mood. Am I being TA here? NTA. Yeah, your mom and sister's comments are racist, and your family is enabling this. Ghetto isn't something to throw around. You should send them some historical context about this word and the ghettoization of Black Americans through racial injustice. I can understand your mom not understanding Afro Caribbean dancing and being confused or perhaps put off by twerking, like many older folks, but it doesn't justify making racist comments. NTA, as a Black woman reading this, I can attest that what your mom and sister said was indeed rude and offensive. Do not back down from them for the sake of family. If they're willing to say that about someone you're literally dating, imagine what they have to say about random BIPOC people on the streets. The only thing ghetto here is how they have been handling the situation and their fixation on it. Meanwhile, your girlfriend likely had a blast and thought everyone else did as well. L mom, L sister, W Rihanna, W girlfriend, W boyfriend. NTA, that's how they can be. Your sister is telling on herself. Also, whining and twerking are an ingrained part of Caribbean culture. It's not ghetto. Literally everyone, irrespective of class, partakes in it, from the wealthy elite to those living in actual ghettos. Has she never heard of Carnival? It's government sponsored. Prime ministers, presidents literally attend its opening. Your family are clearly very ignorant, except for your brother. He sounds cool. Stay tuned for more stories from our girl relationships.